On the big interview today, it's a massive privilege because every time I watch you play, Luuk, you give me a smile. Not for the things that people like to talk about now. Look how fantastic he is coming from the bench and scoring a goal. But I like your technique. I like your football intelligence. So first of all, welcome to the big interview.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. We have people who've supported us and who've been with us for the 6 years that we've been alive. And one of them has written in to us today to send you this question.
Okay.
His name is Will Valdez. Will says, I would love to hear Luuk's inside view on sharing a dressing room and a pitch with Ever Banega in Banega's final season with Sevilla. For me, Ever was a massively underrated player whose technique and intelligence were a joy to watch, not only in La Liga, but with Argentina, in Serie A, and with Newell's Old Boys. Now, Ever is a very different kind of guy from you, and you arrived at Seville without necessarily sharing a language, but you shared a football language. He gave you one beautiful ball for a very famous goal of yours in the Europa League. Tell us a little bit about being either a teammate of Ever Banega or a striker who's relying on when Ever Banega, the orchestra conductor, decides to release the ball.
First of all, I want to say he's like a friend of mine because the first moment when I came there, he was living close to me and we connected directly as a friend as well. People probably wouldn't imagine this because of our personalities maybe, but his wife was also amazing towards my girlfriend, so that was also really nice for us. But as a player, is what you say, his intelligence, his technique, being able to do what you're thinking at the moment. You know, there are a lot of players they think they want to do something, but it doesn't work out. And he's a player that could almost always do what he wants in his head, and also is really strong on the ball. You know, it's impossible his dribbling is such quality that an opponent cannot take the ball from him really easy. And then his even when he's being in a dual dribbling, he still have the quality to be able to see what his teammates are doing, like making runs into space and being able to see these runs, and that's for me that's an exceptional quality as well. Yeah.
To what extent, because he was a little bit like Riquelme in some ways that, or at least the viewer makes the decision, or Ever gives the ball when he wants to and everybody else needs to dance to his tune. But I guess when he respects a player like you, maybe sometimes also he changes a little and goes, I know Luuk's going to move now. How is the balance?
Yeah, that's true. He directly from the first days in training or the first games, I noticed he's this kind of player, you know, who can give these balls. So I started making moves and movement, and he just delivered these passes out of nothing, and that's for a striker. It's the best to have behind you. I can remember I think the goal against Betis away. He also gave me an assist, the winning goal, and it wasn't that kind of long, beautiful pass, but it was a really clever movement. He passed an opponent, I think, and directly after he gave me the true pass. Like, that's such of high quality. These small, intelligent passes to a striker, and that's where we live on. You know, as a striker, if you make the movement, it's all about timing. It has to be at the right moment, and maybe you're offside if it's too late, or if it's too soon, your opponent can come back, and he has what I said, he has the quality to give those passes at the right timing. Yeah.
One of the things that I love watching about you is that, okay, when you see clever movement, irrespective of a goal comes or not, then that's part of the reason that we love football. But when you see clever movement and then a finish for a goal or a chance, whereby it's not always about power. Now, lots of you're a powerful man, your headers are really powerful, but lots of your finishes, you only use the touch which is necessary. Tiny touches, little volleys, quite subtle ideas. Is that natural? How have you learned that? Am I describing you accurately?
Yeah, it's I think also something naturally, but you have the talent, but you need to keep repeating this every day on training, on so you keep improving your skills, and for me it's when you get the ball, it's sometimes you don't need to just hit it as hard as you can. You have to to look what position are you at, where's the goalkeeper, like for example the header in the Europa League final across from Banega, I also had it like with the not like full on target, but like with a little, how do you call it, ball?
Like a loop. Like finishing in a basketball.
Yeah, something like, yeah, and yeah, that went in perfectly. So yeah, it's just, I think some things as a striker, the best goals you make when you're not even thinking about it, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know the English word, just
instinct.
Instinct, yeah, instinct. And that's if you get, sometimes you get the ball and you have too much time, you're gonna think too much, and then you make the wrong decision. But sometimes if you, like the split second, the instinct just pops up and you make the goal.
What is instinct? Because the one thing that links the people who are listening and me when we play in our back garden or in our school to the big professionals who win big prizes is there's a tiny moment of creativity in your head, because instinct is like, let's do something crazy, not crazy, but wow, this is a good idea now. That little light bulb in your head, that still happens at your level.
Yeah, definitely. It's as a striker, it's where you live on this instinct, you know, when you get because in the box there's so little time when you receive a ball. It's also what I said, it's repeating every day on training that the finishing, and then you have to be confident in your finishing, that when you receive a ball, it's just the instinct, because it's in a split of a second, you need to know what you need to do directly and without even thinking a long time about it. You know.
Let's stop for a second in the territory we're in right now, because you won that last trophy in the strangest of circumstances, a bubble of just about 10 days in Germany, kind of until right before the mini tournament. Nobody knew where it was going to be, there were no fans, and you faced really difficult ties. One after the other. It worked really great for you because you had 2 goals in the semi and 1 goal in the final. One in the semi, 2 in the final, pardon me. The winner against Manchester United.
Yeah.
What was that bubble like? How different is that to live in compared to normal competitive standards, and how did you adapt?
Of course, I think for us, as a team at Sevilla, we really grew as a team in this bubble, you know. You saw us growing every day, and I think it would be more difficult for us to win the Europa League when it was in the normal season, when you have to play 2 matches against opponents, because some games we were struggling. For example, against Manchester United, we were really struggling this game. And
physically, you mean?
Sorry?
Struggling?
No. They getting a lot of opportunities, and Bono was amazing this semi-final. He made so many saves. So we fought, and at one point it was 1-1, and I came in and made the winning goal. But I think that game Manchester United should have won. And for example, if it was 2 games, we had to go back or play away another game, I think it would be more difficult for us. But still, it's that's why I said this bubble. It brought us really close together as a team, as a family. I can remember Goudelje coming back from his COVID. He was out with COVID, and he coming back, and we greeted him back like he won the Champions League final. You know, like we were such a good group together, like a family. And these little things we just kept growing and performing better and better during this bubble. And for us, I think it was meant to be to win the final as well.
What's it like when the most crazy moment in your life happens, when you scored 2, it goes to equal again, Diego Carlos gets the winner, but when you score, when the trophy goes, there's silence. I know.
Yeah, I know. That's the most thing, the biggest thing I'm still a little bit sad about, that there weren't fans, you know, our fans or whatever kind of fans, you know, it's that they couldn't join us, the celebrations, the lifting the trophy at the end. I could never celebrate this trophy. How do you say it? I've never celebrated this trophy with the fans, you know, even after, and when the restricted. So it's still a pity, but despite that, it's still one of the biggest trophy. I think the biggest trophy I've ever won in my career.
When you celebrated at the end, one of your flash zone, you said this is a family. You really put a lot of emphasis on. I know a lot of athletes. I've met a lot of coaches and footballers who don't need a family relationship in the dressing room. who thrive on conflict. They don't even need to like each other.
No, I know.
That's true, you would say, but also it's very different from how you function, I'd argue.
No, I think it can go both ways. It's like some teams, they need these conflicts, these keeping each other sharp, and some just go along really well together. But you have to watch out when you're like a family and it's going. But at one point when it goes a little bit worse, then still people need to stand up and try to. Yeah, sometimes you need a little bit of conflict, and that's. I think we didn't need this with Sevilla because we were doing great. But you know, in football, it's sometimes you need a little bit of a conflict for people to wake up again, to be sharp again, and that's it can go both ways, I think. Yeah.
We have lovely sponsors who support us, and they've sent us a question. Bet365 say, if you could choose, I'm giving you a time machine. I'll give one to Xavi also later, because he deserves it. But with your time machine, if you could relive one moment from your career, I don't know if it's the Super Cup winning goal against Ajax, for example, or a couple that you score in the 19 games where you win the title. Which moment would you choose to relive?
It's a tough question. Yeah, I've had a couple of amazing moments. That's also good. Yes. But which moment I would relive? I think the moment with PSV, we won at home against Ajax, the champion. We were champion. We won with 3-0. This was against your rival, winning at home with the fans. This atmosphere was incredible for me, because I can say the Europa League final, but the atmosphere, it wasn't there because without the fans. It was like, it's an amazing trophy. I won, I think, the biggest, but this moment in Eindhoven against Ajax, winning the championship, for me, this feeling after, you know, we were like for I think one day we were like in the clouds, you know, like partying, and that was one hell of a day, definitely.
You've had a lot of Barca influences throughout your life, because I've seen you talk about, for Barca's website, about here's my four, and Van der Sar and the goals, etc. Ronaldinho, who's quite good up front, but Cruyff too. Cruyff was a massive hero of mine since the early 1970s. I interviewed him, met him, and he influenced me, and I feel he changed my life. You were coached by Cocu, coached a bit by Van Bommel. So with all of that in your mind, what was I guess it was Schroeder's idea, maybe, to call you to Barca?
I don't. For me, it was Koeman, because I had a good contact with Koeman. Maybe they discussed it
You'd
together.
Worked with Schroeder, right?
Yeah, in FC Twente, and we were really good together. And he was really, I was still 19 years old, and he was really convinced me to reach the first team and helping me. And I think maybe he was also now with Koeman. It was a nice connection.
Well, Shane Hurley, one of our socios, asks us if when a move is offered to you, if you stop and research and think about it, or you just follow, like, somebody wants me, so I'll go. But maybe particularly beyond Shane's question about how you analyse your transfer moves, when Barca comes calling, I suppose, even for a cynical professional, your heart goes pitter-patter, because it's special. You
don't need to analyze anything anymore. No, if one of the biggest clubs, for me, maybe the biggest even, calls for you to come play for them, it's before what I said when I was playing at PSV. I've analyzed teams that made offers. You know, when Sevilla came, you know, I was my dad and my agent. My dad has a good connection with Ortec, the in English.
Analytical.
Company, and about how teams play, if I fit, you know, as a striker with my qualities, and when Barca called, what you say, I didn't have to think twice. It was directly, if it's possible. It was the last day of the transfer market, 31 of August. I was like, I'm in directly, and we just made it happen. So if you can play it, it's such a big club. It's no need to analyze anything for me.
You've made a comparison that interests me, because when you moved to Seville, I'd seen you play before, but I wanted to learn more. So I went back on Y-Scout and I looked at the way in which you scored so prolifically for PSV. And it felt to me as if you were in not only a club, but a league where the supply, just by concept, isn't the same. Because generally, particularly in the big teams in Spain, it's not about play vertically, hit the byline, fint cross. And not all your goals are headers. You've got a lovely flick between your legs at the front post, which you use quite a lot as well. But I wondered at Sevilla, and we've seen now that it's a different kind of service, different timing, different strategy.
No, definitely. I think because in PSV I played at the Sevilla, also now the top league, but PSV you're always dominating the games. You know, always dominating, but in a attacking way of playing. You know, always trying to attack, put the balls in the box, runners that get back to the ball, and then in Seville, we also were dominating games, like pressing them, keeping the ball, but more in a preservative way. Yeah, like
to
keeping the ball. And waiting for the right moments to attack. And it's I think a little bit more difficult to get opportunities as a striker there, because you didn't get as much opportunities as I get at PSV, because at PSV I've played there for a couple of years already, and it was all about, if you got the ball free on the side, cross it in, you know, Luuk is there, so it can always be a goal, or I can put it back to somebody who comes in and stuff like this. And in Sevilla, it was a little bit more like preserve it, keep the ball and look for the right opportunities. And maybe it was also because we're all like big players, and everybody was a little bit more individually than in PSV. The team was more focused on me as the finishing point, you know?
Which can be frustrating at first, I guess, or at least you have to learn a different kind of game interpretation and patience.
It's different because you know it's not all about you. I'm always thinking about team. I mean, all about you, but I'm not the finishing the point. I'm not the guy who makes the goals at the end, you know. In Sevilla, it was like, we try to find the right moments, and maybe Ocampos comes inside, cuts inside, scores the goal, and it was a little bit more difficult for me to really get the amount of crosses in or chances that I had at PSV. Yeah.
So you adapted, you changed,
maybe
you improved. I don't know.
The people who know me, the way I played, I think I still played very good at Seville with holding the ball and combinating with
bringing other players in. I know that's a skill.
I did this, but at the end, people will look at the numbers you score, you know, and that's the thing. Yeah, I lacked a little bit at Seville, and that's of course I cannot make the same amount of goals that I did in Holland, because the league is way different, but. I still have a really good feeling how I played in Seville as a player, you know, with the team together, and that's also a quality of mine. Yeah.
We've had the benefit just outside now of sitting down, listening to an off the record briefing from the manager, from Xavi Hernandez, and one of the things he said there has been evident in your play. He said that when he came in, he said to the players, everybody needs to run like animals, and is there anybody who doesn't want to be here if they're only going to get sometimes 5 minutes, 2 minutes? And he said nobody put their hand up, but he keeps using you as an example of brilliant professional attitude. First of all, where does that come from? Does that come from your parents, from school? Is it something that's in your blood? Because everybody's different.
I think it's in my blood. You know, my parents, they were both international volleyball players. They had to also, work hard, train hard every day, and even the talent we have, we still know it's all about work. You know, how do you say, talent is only 10%. All the 90% is hard work, and I always had to. My brother is like 1.5 years older, and we were the two of us, and I always had to fight against him, you know. So my whole life I was working hard and fighting. So it's just how I am, how I became as a person, I think. Yeah.
One of the privileges that we lack in modern journalism is to do, and the people who listen to my series would be bored about me going on about this, but one of the reasons I moved to Spain was you could go and watch, as a journalist, you could go and watch training, because training is at least as fascinating as matches, and it's the bedrock of how a group unites, plays intelligently, and wins. Training under Xavi is, to me, pretty fascinating, and I'm lucky a couple of weeks back he gave us the privilege of watching half an hour. One of the things that I really want to understand is what they call here the juegos asociativos, where there are games, it looks like a summer camp. Let's pretend to play basketball, or there's 6 guys and you've got to put the ball in the dustbin after you've used both shoulders. Now, it just looks like massive fun and like a summer camp, but what does it do to you? Why are you using these?
I think it's really intelligent they're doing this, because it's all about coming close together. You know, if you as players, as persons, as having fun together, if you just start with the warm up and then you start doing the tactical things and that's it, you just, it's like, I cannot say this, it's like another day at work, but it's different, you know. They try to make
ordinary.
They try to every other day they try to do other games and try to keep cognitive.
Would it be cognitive? So in other words, cognitive
games.
It's making you think and adapt.
Adapt and everything, and to keep your, also I think your brain sharp and also what I said, bringing us closer together and letting us have some fun as well. Yeah.
But in these games, you truly, whether it's 4v4 or 5v5, and sometimes it's against a stopwatch, you truly compete, right?
And that's
flat out.
Yeah, but then you can also tell which players are a little bit clever. You know, they try to go around the rules or
bend the rules.
Bend the rules, and who is really. You can also tell the players who always want to win, even these small little games. You know, that's funny to see. Yeah.
One of the things that the legacy that a few years ago I wrote a book about Football Club Barcelona, and then we made it into a movie with Universal Studios called Take the Ball, Pass the Ball. And we went out to Qatar to interview Xavi at length because he's been a friend for a long time, and he explained the one thing this club can never do is abandon the Cruyff idea. It became the Rijkaard, the Guardiola idea. It adapts. But he said there's adaptation, but we must never. Now, what did happen was that in previous seasons before he came back, and I don't care to talk about them, so don't worry, the ideas did get abandoned. And one of the things that have been really clear in the last 4 months has been the change back to pressing, possession, and positional play. Did you really get taught that before? Because it's more a concept associated with the Ajax school, but maybe you at Twente or maybe at PSV, you learned it. And if not, how difficult or how has the learning process been for position play here?
First of all, in Holland, I think I've learned quite a lot about these position, possession, and pressure. Because it's because I think in Holland the level of intelligence is quite high about what you say, the Ajax school, but all the other teams also try to do this. And in FC Twente, when we were winning champion, we also did this really well. And in PSV, the years I've played there, we also, and I've grown a lot there in thinking, not only about playing for fun, but also thinking about what to do in different situations and stuff like that. And what you say, I think here Xavi is really trying to bring this back into the team, that we are really becoming a machine in dominating games with the position of the ball, and if we lose it, press directly and press high and keeping the players in positions I can really tell that we are really making big steps in this as a team at the moment.
And as somebody who watched Barca before from a distance, am I, in your case, but am I right in suggesting to you that Xavi's model is a little different too? Because certainly under Pep Guardiola, and I remember under Cruyff and Rexach when they came to be coaches, the ball didn't really get played either vertically or in very much. But Xavi has an open mind, and it's like a blend of the two ideas. It's very much possession. It's very much about use the ball in an intelligent way, divide, play triangles. But for the benefit of forwards like you, the ball does get played in.
But he's always pushing us to make runs behind the defensive line. That if somebody like the midfield players or the wingers, that if they make the run, we need to give those balls and these vertical balls. And also he also says when, for example, I come in, he also tells the other players like, Luuk is this kind of type of player. Give him the crosses, give him the balls, and I think this is really important. That and of course it worked out, and I scored some goals. So that's also in football important, because some players, if you give a lot of crosses and then we never score a goal, we only lose the ball, the players will also start thinking now
they don't do it anymore.
No, they don't anymore. So that's how people work, in their minds. So it's also really good that I could score some goals out of this, but it's also because the mister really pushed the players, like give him the crosses, and that's it also depends on which type of players are playing.
Who would you call? I mean, one of the questions from our sponsors would be, in pure talent, who is your colleague right now in this squad with the most pure talent?
Oof.
Yeah,
I have to watch out what I'm saying.
Okay.
No, pure talent.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, but they are players with different talents,
Okay.
But it's, for me, one of the most intelligent is Busquets. He's like, I've played a couple of games against him in PSV as well, and with Sevilla, and I was always thinking like, why can't I get the ball from him? Like he doesn't make it look fast or anything, but you just can't get the ball out of him. He has like the talent of reading how people press and where they come from, and then you have of course Frenkie de Jong. He's for me one of the most talented players who can, how do you say, he's really looking for the spaces that are free and trying to lure players out to make space for other players behind, and he knows exactly how to do this, and even if he can maybe dribble past some player, he tries to make space that another opponent has to step out at their space. He knows, if you show him on the images how he has to do it, he does it in the game. He can do it exactly the same. It's unbelievable, such a quality. And then you have Pedri, who is I don't know. He's always knowing how to turn away. How to dribble past players.
Don't you find him unusual? Because I don't think it's. I don't know what kind of joke the big man is playing on us, but you shouldn't have that much information in your circuits at that age. It's I know what you mean, but I've noticed directly when I came here and we were playing like this possession games, and he was every ball he got, he knew where to turn to or where to play to in the middle between 3-4 players, and this is just talent, pure talent that he has with it. Again, I want to ask about a guy who fascinates me, who can serve you many goals to come for your Barca career. But Dembélé is maybe, now that Neymar has adapted his play, I don't think there's another footballer that I've seen in this game right now like Dembélé, to be able to go left foot, right foot. Yeah. Also, standing start, 60 miles an hour in 1.2 seconds, or give it on the run. Now, I don't want you to say, but he also makes mistakes. Sometimes his brain is not like Busquets or Pedri, but I think he's unique.
But I agree, he makes some mistakes because he always wants to go forward. And for me, he's the player who, what you say, dribbling with left to right, he knows exactly when a defender wants to step in to get the ball. He knows exactly where. It's like he's reading it before that. He knows exactly where to go to pass the player. His dribbling skills are like exceptional, really, and that's as for a striker like me, this is amazing to have on the wingers, because I know 9 out of 10 times he can pass his opponent and give a cross in. So I think dribbling and even shooting wise, left foot, right foot, he's exceptional as well.
We don't have the time to do what we would normally do in the big interview because these interviews are very long. You've got a life to do, you've got training to come. Xavi will kick me in the shins but I'm going to ask whether we possibly have 8 or 9 more minutes, and if we do, 8 or 9 more minutes.
What time is it?
Respect always, so you decide. You decide.
We can do 8 then.
You decide. Okay, we will be sharp.
Yeah,
we'll be sharp.
Yeah, don't worry. It's okay.
Then again, because I'm so fascinated by Xavi, what's it like being taught by him from a distance? He's an unbelievable communicator, and in some footballers they can do it. In some footballers they can do it and understand it. But to have all three, to be able to do it, to understand it and explain it, again makes him nearly unique. Maybe not unique, but close to it. When you're being shown a video, when you're being talked through things in the training ground, what's the experience like? And am I right about his communication skills?
Yeah, definitely right. Which is exactly what you've said. He's like, he's been able to do it, but also think about and communicate perfectly with the videos he's showing us before games, after games, what we have to do better, and even the things we're doing good, we have to improve, and he's just trying to give us all the right information, but not like too much, you know. There's always also some coaches who give too much information. They're like talking half an hour and you see players after 10 minutes not
bored.
Bored, not paying attention anymore because they're not explaining. You have to be really detailed and how do you say? It has to be like I don't know how the English word, but to be detailed and compact. You know, like that people just pick it up and do it the next, and then of course you have the players in Barca who can do it on the pitch as well, because I think it would be more difficult for him as a coach, as a team where the players don't have the intelligence to do it in the pitch.
So having Busquets, for example, who lives and breathes the same concept, that helps Xavi beyond what Busquets does with the ball, but he's like a voice on the pitch, this way, that way.
Exactly, and then you have like players by the center midfield with Pedri and Frenkie who also pick this up really easily, and then you've got an amazing combination, I think, and that can grow really big.
Then maybe the last thing we need to do, Luuk, is and I don't think you're going to like this question very much.
Then we don't have time anymore.
Because it'll be easy for you to say, it's my job.
Yeah.
But I love anybody with the attitude to say, I'm ready. So the last example I'm going to give you is I was working with Spain in the World Cup. Sorry, 2010. I'm so sorry. And Del Bosque said to me, Cesc is really pissed off with me because he's on the bench and he's never on the bench. So I got an interview with Cesc Fabregas and I said, but how do you cope? He said, my job is to be ready. And he was ready. He gave the assist to Iniesta. Being ready and turning a 10-minute opportunity or a 1-minute opportunity, how does that happen?
That's a really good question.
Thank you. That's why you made more time. Thank you.
It's what you say. It's not only it's your job, but it's something you're thinking about the whole day. You know, at the moment I'm seeing the starting 11. I'm like, I can be like, shit, I'm not playing again. You know, I could be like,
some players are like that.
Just let it be today. I'll see. I'm thinking about what I'm going to do tomorrow or stuff like this. Some players are like this. But I'm just like, okay, I'm not playing, but in football a lot can happen, you know. People can get sent off, get injured, so you need to change. And especially a player like me, you know, if we're behind or we're at a draw, I need to come in and maybe make the winning goal or be important up front. And that's where I live from, you know. It's like, I'm like, at that moment when I see the lineup, okay, I'm not playing, I'm like, okay, maybe my moment will come and I just have to be ready it sounds so easy, but I can understand that it's not that easy for a lot of players, and I think when I was younger I also had more problems with not being in the starting 11, but at a point in your career, you know, and the place you are at, it's like, I know I came here with the idea when Koeman brought me in with the idea. You're like a target man, but how do you say pinch hitter? Is it?
Pinch hitter is a great expression. I guess it's a baseball one, but it's like
no, it's in Holland we say pinch hitter, but I know the
when we need somebody, who do we turn to?
Yeah. It's like
our solutions
and that's why. So I know my position, and of course, every game when I see the starting 11, I'm a little bit disappointed because I want to play. I'm an athlete. I want to work, but I know my place in the team, and I just need to be ready at these moments, and luckily I could show it sometime.
It's a really good explanation of why we wanted to talk to you on the big interview. This has been a massive amount of time for a club like Barca, for a player like Luuk de Jong. One day, when you're maybe doing something else, I'm going to come back and ask for 90 minutes, because you explain football really well, and you're here because we love watching you and watching your brain and your competitive spirit.
Thank you.
You're a talented man. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Luuk de Jong. Thank you.